Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 82. Andrew Eisen here, along with Zachary Knight. Hello, Zachary.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Andrew. So,
Hello.
how's Monster Hunter?
Monster Hunter is not out yet, but another demo hit, and this demo includes Nergigante, which is a big, spiky dinosaur dragon who is very aggressive and doesn't like you very much. Of course, I'm chasing him with a stick, so I wouldn't like me either. And so this is the monster that's supposed to be super hard, the ultimate test. And I'm actually really interested to see how appropriate the armor sets they give in the game are to this monster. Like when you meet Nergigante in the main game, will you have better armor and weapons at that point, or is he really that strong? Because man, he hits like a spiky bus. He hits really, really hard. Unless
Nice.
you start going after all the defense up armor skills, his lighter attacks, his love taps, still take a good like 40 to 50% of your health away. And
Wow.
he has two major attacks that will flat out kill you. And one of them is this really odd area of effect attack that I've been hit by a couple of times because I think I'm far enough away. I am
And you're
not
not?
far enough away.
Of course not.
I'm like, aha, Nergigante, I see that coming. And I scoot over to the side. I'm like, haha. And he lands and then explodes. And I get hit. And I'm like, well, drat, I guess I was still too close. There's also a thing in this game where some of the wildlife are. In the old games, you had bombs. You had this, you'd make paralysis bombs and or did they have paralysis bombs? No, I think they just had like paralysis daggers.
Yeah.
Well, there's this frog that is a paralysis toad or something, and you kick him and he lets out a stream of gas, and if the monster gets caught up in the gas, the monster gets paralyzed for a handful of seconds, allowing you to smack him in the face. If you get caught in the gas, you get paralyzed too. I have been caught by that damn frog. I never. The first time I noticed there was a frog there is Nergigante and
Sorry,
I.
I'm laughing at Jordan because he wrote something about fingerprints and he's trying to correct himself, but it keeps coming back up as fingerprints, and it's just hilarious.
Oh, yeah. But I tell you, but it's really a sad sight when my hunter and Nergigante are both on the ground going ah. We're like, damn you, paralysis toad. Um, I haven't beaten Nergigante yet.
Okay.
I'm getting close. I can get. One thing they've done is they've reduced the time limit down to 15 minutes. Normally quests are 50, but they're like, haha,
Yeah.
do it in 15. I can get him limping, but I'm not dealing enough damage to kill him in the 15 minutes. And that's
Yeah.
mostly because I'm learning a new weapon, which is not a good. This is not the enemy to learn a new weapon on.
No, it's not.
Um, so I'm trying the charge blade, which I'm having fun with, but I'm still
Yeah.
figuring out how to use it and how to position myself and what the timing is, what attacks I can cancel and dodge out of, stuff like that. So I think a couple more tries will probably have him down. Really, I just need to uh, aim better because I'm missing a lot of my
Need to
shots.
get good.
I need to get good. That's the nice thing
Yeah.
about Monster Hunter is your character never gets stronger. You do get better weapons and defense, but your character's stats never actually increase. It's really you, the player, who gets better, and that's one of the
Yeah.
satisfying things about the game.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, so my hunter's name is Leslie, and my little anthropomorphic cat companion's name is Bob. Leslie and
Okay.
Bob.
Leslie and Bob. Nice.
So
Yeah. So
finger paints
this
is what Jordan is
yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah. So this is on PS4, right? So
It's on PS4. It will be on Xbox One and PC in the fall sometime.
okay. And maybe one day on the Switch, but not anytime soon.
Well, it is Monster Hunter Double Crosser Generations, I think it's called out here. I think is on Switch in Japan, just hasn't come out here
Yeah.
in America. Matthew's asking, and he asked me on Twitter earlier, which do you think will sell better? Uh, Monster Hunter World, a game that has spent most of its history on handhelds, or Dragon Ball Fighter Z, made by a niche developer in Arc System Works. Matthew guesses Fighter Z. They both come out next Friday, the 26th. Matthew, I'm gonna say I think Monster Hunter will sell better because I actually looked up what
Yeah.
sales data I could find for Dragon Ball Z games and Monster Hunter games, and Monster Hunter outsells Dragon Ball Z typically
Yeah, Dragon
by
Ball is
several million. So
they're both fairly niche games, but I
if we're
think
talking
Dragon
worldwide
Ball
sales,
is I think Dragon Ball is a a smaller niche than Monster Hunter is. But yeah, so I would probably agree with you that Monster Hunter is going to sell better, and I think with this being a PS4 title
and
and
Xbox
with
One
and Xbox One,
and
and it's
PC
got
a year from now.
and it's got a less stylized art style, like
Mhm.
older previous Monster Hunter games haven't been quite this big and flashy and real to life, as you might
Yeah.
call it. But
Um, yeah,
yeah,
especially if we're again, I'm talking worldwide sales. I think
yeah,
Monster Hunter. Also, Monster Hunter World has a much bigger marketing push and a lot more money
oh
behind
yeah,
it. So
yeah, and as fun as
it's
Dragon Ball
also better
games,
than Dragon Ball Z in every conceivable way.
true, it is. So it now I got the only Dragon Ball game I own is Dragon Ball Budokai 2
Mhm.
for the PS2, and I got that one because I like at the time I got it, I was a somewhat decent fan of the Dragon Ball series, and uh, and I liked the idea of the fighting game because that was the part of the series that I liked, were the tournaments, when they would go into the fighting tournaments and they would fight, you know interesting and new characters and stuff, and once it got into world ending super moves and alien invaders and stuff, I just kind of got bored with it. But so I bought Budokai 2 because that was
Well,
a
a
real
lot of the
that
recent
was the
games
good
have
one.
looked
Yeah,
very good. I mean, they
yeah,
look like just like the cartoon, so that's great. Um, Matthew says that in the U.S. it will outsell Monster Hunter. Possibly. I still
maybe.
Dragon Ball Z especially is definitely a much bigger and more well-known property in the U.S. than Monster Hunter is. But I think that just the marketing behind Monster Hunter
Yeah.
might tip the scales in its favor, even in the
Well,
U.S.
and Monster Hunter is a somewhat unique game in just in general, and but it also has that whole like the crafting behind it that a
Mhm.
lot of games have and that people enjoy. Fallout 4 was a lot of crafting, the Fallout series, and and enough, Minecraft and tons of other games have been using crafting, and this one in Monster Hunter is you're crafting specifically to create new equipment to go after bigger and better monsters and get better equipment, and that I think that's a great sell for today's modern gamer, and I think that's a better sell than a fighting game. So
Oh, Matthew points out if Monster Hunter was on PC, which it will be next fall, I would agree, but on consoles, not even sure what that is.
uh,
But that's some of that internet slang abbreviation stuff.
yeah,
It depends on what you're asking. If you're asking like day one sales or first week sales, then yeah, it could be a toss up. But I think the long term sales, I think Monster Hunter is going to take it. But then again, I am biased because I like Monster Hunter and I don't like Dragon Ball Z. So. But no, I think yeah, I think a lot of it's really going to come down to just the money behind the game. So
yeah.
But we'll
Yeah.
see. In a perfect world, they all do well. I think I don't think one's going to do great and one's going to tank. I think they'll both do. They'll both
Oh
sell
yeah,
like
they'll both do
several
well
million
enough that
copies.
yeah, they'll do both do well enough that their respective developers will continue making games in the series. There's no doubt about that. So
Yeah, Metal Dave's Palico is Oscar. And Jordan asks, do we think Pokken Tournament has the potential to get a sequel? I'm
I
not feeling it. I don't feel a whole hell of a. Now, granted, the pulse is over there and my finger's like way over there when it comes to Pokemon, I guess, but I don't feel a lot of excitement, or people seem to like Pokken Tournament just
yeah
fine, but I don't feel like the groundswell of support to have more. I mean, maybe just some more DLC fighters that are ridiculously overpriced. Hey,
yeah
two new fighters, $15. What? Oi,
yeah.
Nintendo, come on. Um, but maybe
They
there's definitely
might.
going to be more Pokemon, and they may do
Oh
another
yeah.
Pokemon fighting game, but a specifically
Well, they're
sequel
yeah
to
on
Pokken
the
Tournament. I don't
what
know. Not feeling it.
what all have they done? Because there was two Pokemon Stadium games on this 64. Was there any kind of Pokemon games on the GameCube and Wii? I don't remember. But yeah.
Um, oh boy, Matthew, you've really got a dog in this fight. Comparing the sales to, I think that's Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Yeah, I think Marvel versus Capcom Infinite didn't do as well as Capcom was expecting because it sucked and it looks
Yeah,
terrible.
terrible art. They had terrible art, terrible
I think that
models.
did a lot to hurt it.
Um, the storyline, from what I understand, didn't make a whole lot of sense in the when you actually looked at more than the elevator pitch. But
And it
yeah,
doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be cool and fun and put
well,
all your
yeah,
character. Yeah, I mean it's basically
yeah,
dumping all your toys on the floor and slamming the action figures together.
exactly. But yeah, the art was terrible, and
Yeah.
that turned a lot of people off.
To be fair, they did fix some of it
Yeah,
somewhat.
barely.
So,
Yeah. Uh, so today, Pokemon Go Niantic, they're doing something new. Once a month, they're doing a community day now, and the idea is that for about 3 hours once a month, one specific Pokemon is going to be featured, and that Pokemon's going to show up like all over the place, and people will be able to catch it, and of course, the first time they do this, they do Pikachu, which they've done Pikachu to death, seriously, because like every event has a special Pikachu. They've got Pikachu with a Santa hat, Pikachu with a party hat, Pikachu with an Ash hat, Pikachu with a witch hat, and then
I
and
want
so
Pikachu and red speedos.
so but today they did Pikachu, and this was another special
There's
Pikachu
going to be
because this
Pet
is
Detective Pikachu at some point.
yeah, that would actually be kind of cool. I would love to see a Pikachu with a Deerstalker cap on.
Yep.
But they did a Pikachu with the move Surf, which is a move that Pikachu is only able to learn in the most recent games because they're based around the Pokemon equivalent of Hawaii. So yeah. So while we were at the zoo, my family, we went to the zoo today, and so the event happened at 1 o'clock today, and so my son and I, we were catching as many Pikachu's as we could, and and I'm sitting here catching Pikachu's, and I click on one, and and my screen flashes. Like some like sparkles come out like fireworks or something out of in the game, and I look, and it's the shiny Pikachu, which I still think is incredibly ugly because it's just kind of a burnt orange color or like a burnt yellow, not quite an orange, and it's just an ugly color. Seriously, I don't know why it's so special because shiny Magikarp is a golden Magikarp. Yeah, shiny Sableye is a golden shiny Sableye, but Pikachu, the shiny version, is just this ugly burnt yellow orangish thing. But I catch this. I'm like, because yeah, this is a new feature they added. Like they pushed out an update yesterday, and the update added little shiny indicators next to a Pokemon when you're looking at your Pokemon inventory, and so that way it's like for some of the Pokemon where there's barely an indistinguishable color difference, like a Pikachu, you can see immediately that this one's a shiny, and apparently they added a screen effect when you encounter a shiny Pokemon. And so I see this and I'm like, holy crap, I'm catching a shiny Pikachu. And my son who's catching Pokemon with me, he's like, no way. And
Throw it back.
so I caught it. And he's like, man, I hope I get a shiny Pikachu. And then I'm like, I catch a few more Pikachus, and it's like the third Pikachu after that shiny I caught was another shiny Pikachu, and that ticked my son off because he's sitting here catching them along with me, and he didn't catch a single one, and so he's all upset that I caught two shiny Pikachus, and so I was able to evolve one and get a shiny Raichu as well. Um, and he's upset and everything, and so we continue on, and the event lasts for 3 hours, and this is like within the first hour of the event that I caught two shiny Pikachus, and so but we continue playing, and then finally 30 minutes before the event ends, he finally encounters a shiny Pikachu, and he's like, yes, a shiny Pikachu. And then it shows the CP, the combat points, I think is what it stands for.
So like how
And
likely you'll be able to catch it, or
no, it's like it's level,
okay.
pretty much. And it's a CP 10, which is the absolute lowest CP you can catch a Pokemon
You got
at.
the lamest shiny.
and he got that. He was like, no, but he caught it. So he got us. He at least got a shiny Pikachu, and which was good. But he was still upset that it was a pretty terrible one. The two I caught was a CP 500 something, and the other one was CP 100 something. I think the best you can do with a Pikachu is like getting it CP 700, somewhere around there. But yeah, so that was fun, and yeah, we had fun at the zoo. My youngest son, he's 2, almost 3. He'll be 3 in February, and almost 1 month from now. So, but he likes to play Pokemon Go for me too, and so we'll my house is a spawn point, so like 4 or 5 Pokemon will spawn on a regular basis at my house, and so I'll just be sitting with my sitting on the couch with my son and my 2-year-old, and I'll pull up Pokemon Go to see if anything spawns. Because every once in a while, a rarer Pokemon will spawn, but most of the time it's just common garbage stuff. And so he's like, catch Pokemon or catch Pomon is how he says it, and I'm like, okay, and I'll let him, and he does the little twirl with the Pokeball, because you spin the Pokeball to do a. Well, you spin the Pokeball and throw it, and it throws a curveball. And if you hit the Pokemon with a curveball, you have a greater chance of catching it. And so my son, my older son, and I were always throwing curveballs, and so my youngest son, he sees us doing that, and so he knows that he's supposed to spin the ball before he throws it, but he doesn't know to throw it at an angle at the edge of the screen, and so he spins it and then he throws it straight up, and it curves away from the Pokemon, and it's hilarious. But my wife got a picture of my 2 sons sitting on a bench at the zoo. And they're both playing Pokemon Go on our my youngest on my phone, and my oldest on his phone, and and so she snapped a picture of that, which was hilarious. But so yeah, they're still fun to be had with Pokemon Go. They still haven't released all of Gen 3 yet, so
And
Well,
they sell like 4 or 5 gens after that. So,
yeah. But yeah.
all right, got a couple questions in the chat here. First of
All
all,
right.
hello, Deja Voodoo.
Hello.
Matthew says, what do we think of the rumors of a Pokemon game out on the Switch this year? Well, that was the original expected release date next fall.
Yeah, but they
However,
haven't
I've
announced.
heard that they scrapped whatever they were working on and started over. So I'm less inclined to. I just cut it. I'm looking at the Afghan in the background, and it's not straight, and that bothers me. Um, now it bothers you. You will never be able to unsee it for the rest of the show. Um, but I didn't believe in a million years that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 would be out in December, and it was out in December.
Oh,
So who knows? Maybe.
no, yeah.
Um, let's
It'd be
see.
interesting to see what Pokemon game they come out.
Yeah.
Pokemon tournament, it's not really my speed, but if they came out with a an actual RPG version of Pokemon, I might pick that up when I get a Switch. But
Oh, Deja Voodoo is relegating you to Andrew's friend.
oh, I'm Andrew's friend. Andrew needs friends, by the way. He doesn't have any friends out there.
That's true. That's why I went to the women's march alone. I had no one to go with. Um, but good company, and had to spend the entire day dodging pugs because there are pugs all over the place. Lots of pugs. I'm like, oh my god, they're all underfoot. Super Metal Dave says, Andrew, are you not a fan of Dragon Ball due to not liking the characters, or due to the way the storytelling is done, where they basically have explosion fight, explosion fight? Well, to be clear, I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z, not Dragon Ball. And what I don't like about it is everything. Um, uh, the characters are terrible. The story is terrible. The writing is terrible. The dub is terrible. The animation is terrible. The fights and choreography are terrible. The pacing is terrible. Literally every single thing about I have not read the manga. I don't know. Everything about the dub of Dragon Ball Z. I've never seen the original language version of it and the original edit, so maybe that's great too. I don't know. I've only ever seen the American cut and redubbed version of Dragon Ball Z, and it is terrible in every conceivable way. Now, it's not that I don't like that genre of people, clenching their buttocks really hard to power up, and then punching really hard. Because I like a show called Yu Yu Hakusho, which
Yeah.
is pretty much Dragon Ball Z, except it doesn't completely suck in every single way. But what's funny is I have a friend who is a big fan of Dragon Ball Z, um, and hates Yu Yu Hakusho. So I don't know if it's one of those, if you like one you won't like the other. If there's anyone on Earth who's like, yeah, I love them both. They're both great. I don't know. But this friend of mine also likes Hatsune Miku, so so really odd taste.
Yeah. I think I think Dragon Ball Z and on, yeah, they really suffered some major pacing issues, and I understand that they've got to pull a full season out of an encounter with Cell, but when a single fight with Cell or with any character takes 4 episodes with just between one character and another, that's I hate that. That drives me nuts.
Well, I mean, there are encounters, fights in Yu Yu Hakusho that could, like the fight between Yusuke and Toguro, I think his name is. That final fight in the Dark Tournament arc, I think, is 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But there's actually a progression. It's not just two people standing there clenching their butts, and it's like in Dragon Ball, it's like 4 episodes of them powering up. I remember I saw one show called Gantz, and which is actually a fun show. Manga's kind of interesting. The movie that they did a couple of years ago is really, really good. In just it's fun to watch. But there's one episode where the kids or the people in the show are standing on like an overpass, and one of their own is down in a reservoir.
Yeah.
and is being attacked by a monster. He's like, no, no, don't eat me. Help me, help me. And the guy's a jerk, so they're kind of debating whether they should save him or not. And this debate of we should save him. No, he's a jerk, but it's the right thing to do. But he's a jerk, and he'll just turn around and stab us in the back later. But humanity, and they have this conversation. I kid you not, for an episode and a half. I mean, in real time, I think this is probably about 10 seconds, but it takes an episode and a half.
Wow.
Like, oh my God, do something. So Addicted to
Nice.
Chaos actually likes both DBZ and Yu Yu Hakusho. All right, so they do exist.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into actual topics, and let's hit the topic that
All
neither
right.
of us really care much about, because we won't talk about it if we start with Nintendo. So you brought this to my attention today. There's a new Steam competitor in town called Robot Cash. Why don't you tell us all about that, Zachary?
All right. I don't know a whole lot about it, just what I've read, and
Yeah,
and
the article you forwarded me was the first time I'd heard of it, and the only thing I've heard.
Yeah. But Robot Cash, it says over on Kotaku, this is steamed.kotaku.com.
And that's CACHE, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah. and apparently it says an upcoming platform from In Exile CEO Brian Fargo and former Atari exec Lee Jacobson. And basically they want to put a dent in Valve's market share, and the way they plan on doing this is it says in two ways. They want to enable the ability for gamers to resell the games that they own and forward that on, and then the other feature is basically they want to start their own cryptocurrency, which they're calling Iron, and this is an interesting prospect. And the way they want to handle the resell is through blockchain technology, which is the technology that cryptocurrency is built around, and so this blockchain keeps track of who owns which copies of the game. And so if you have a copy of the game, that copy of the game has a digital signature that's tied to a specific user, and that digital signature can be transferred. And then if you don't, if the blockchain doesn't register that copy to you, you can't play the game if you try to install it from that copy. And this is all an interesting idea, and they're wanting to do this whole cryptocurrency thing, and which I assume means that your PC is going to be mining cryptocurrency for them or something. But I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work.
I'm sure it will work just as well as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. But they say that when you resell a game, you'll get paid in this Iron, the cryptocurrency, and you can exchange that out for cash or use it to buy more games. So it's basically going to be in-service currency, a gift card, but you can also get cash back out of it. And the way they describe, from other articles I've read, this is only one, but they've talked about the game developers for the game are going to get a cut of the resell. So when you sell a game on to somebody, you're not going to get the full price you're offering it for. You're only going to get a portion of it, and then the developers are going to get a portion of it. And then they're also the idea also is that they're going to have a much lower fee, for Valve on Steam. Valve gets 30% of each sell of a game, where here I believe it's the developers get 95%. Let me see if I can pull that up on Gamma Sutra, but yeah, I believe it's somewhere around that, and yeah, it's it's an interesting idea, but not too many people are enthusiastic about it. Um,
Can't say I am.
yeah,
I don't want to be unnecessarily mean, but this sounds dead on arrival to me.
yeah.
First of
This,
all, um, using doing anything with cryptocurrency right now is about the most unappealing thing you could possibly
yeah,
be doing right now.
yeah.
Um,
Because right now, cryptocurrency is while Bitcoin is it's got a high value right now. There's just it's a very volatile market.
it's not stable at all. There have been a lot of people who have been very hurt by unwise investments. Um, Also, even if cryptocurrency was something that wasn't wouldn't drive, people take a whiff of and run screaming for the door as soon as they catch it. Even if that weren't the case, iron. Oh, come on,
Yeah,
iron,
that,
iron.
that
That's the most
iron.
boring thing you could have come up with. Made a lot of dirt.
Yeah,
Ah, come on. I mean, at least Bitcoin sounds internety, you know?
yeah.
Like, come on, iron.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is. It is
lame.
95% is what developers get from initial sales, and then it says that uh, reselling, the developer gets up to 70% of the resale price, which I got to wonder, and this isn't entirely clear. Is that 70% of? So if I sell a game to you for $10, does that mean I only get 30 or $3 out of that?
That's the
Or
way I read it.
yeah, that's the way I'm reading it. It's like if that's the case, where's the value for me as the gamer to resell my games on? If all I'm getting is $3 when I offer it for 10, and or so you got to wonder how that's going to end up working because it's
It's
just
not. This isn't going
yeah,
anywhere. I don't think this is even going to get off the ground, really.
yeah.
Um,
No, it's got a very hard way to go, and
it's got an uphill climb
yeah,
to be
it
generous.
does. And I sent you an article along with this,
Mhm.
and this is from a guy that I really admire. He Lars Doucet, and he's a developer for Level Up Labs. He makes a tower defense RPG called Defender's Quest, and he has a lot of great opinions about the games industry, about business, piracy, all kinds of stuff. And he says he said on Twitter that he's always getting pitches for the next Steam, the next Steam competitor, and he decided that he was finally going to write up an article about this. And I read this earlier this week after Robot Cash announcement, because that's what pushed him into finally sitting down to read it or to write this. And this is the opening to this article. He says, I get a lot of pitches for Steam competitors in my inbox. 99% of them are doomed to failure, but the worst part is the vast majority are doomed before they even start. It continually amazes me how many people are able to invest so much time, effort, and money into a serious business venture without first surveying the impossible task before them. So let's begin. Here's how you build a successful business that competes directly with Steam. Don't.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the gist of the article. And he goes into extensive detail about what it takes to even become a Steam competitor. Not something that's going to, you know, uh, kick Steam and take its lunch money, but just to actually get off the floor, get out the door with it, with their thing,
Yeah.
and it's just it's one of
And
those
his
things.
suggestion is basically bribe developers to put their games on your platform and bribe gamers to use your platform. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's going to take a lot of initial capital. And unless you're independently wealthy, in which case,
Yeah.
is this really your passion project? Probably not.
Yeah.
Um,
And he goes
or
over.
that they have like some weird investors, which
Yeah.
I doubt. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't mean to pee in the punch bowl here, but I don't see this succeeding or going anywhere.
Yeah. See, and that's what this is that you got to look at the current market, the current game stores, online stores,
Hmm.
where Steam is one of them, and Steam is the biggest, of course
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
And the reason it got that way was because it wasn't Steam at the beginning. It wasn't this thing. It started out as a matchmaking tool for Counter-Strike and Half-Life. And then it eventually expanded and grew into Steam, and so they got the foot in the door just through Counter-Strike and Half-Life, and then built it from there and built it
yeah.
up and became what they are today.
Now
And
you might be able to uh, make a service that's supplemental to Steam, much like Good Old Games and
yeah,
itch.io do. Um, but yeah, competing directly with um, Steam probably not going to work.
yeah, because really, if you get into a situation where you've got to have a specific niche, like something that sets you apart from all other services, like Good Old Games, they sell they
Retro
sell
stuff.
retro PC games that have been tooled to work on modern PCs, and that is their sell. That's their specialty. That's what makes them unique.
Right.
Itch.io is just a big
Indie
service
games.
that where indie games can come on there. It's completely free if you want it to be, and everything. And then you get into situations like Origin and Uplay, which are developer specific or publisher specific services, and
Which nobody wants. The only
which nobody
reason
wants.
anyone ever uses them is they want to play a specific game, and Ubisoft or EA makes you use it.
Exactly, and so yeah, you really, there really is no way to start from the ground up and be a competitor with Steam in any sense of in any way, and because yeah, it's just itch.io, those guys, they aren't in it to make they aren't
Yeah.
in it to compete with Steam. They're just in it because they're the kind of people that just like to make that kind of stuff, and they're making enough to keep themselves off the ground, but that's it. That's all they really care for,
Yeah.
and it's just good tools. But yeah, you're not going to they're not going to compete with Steam at any point, even though they have thousands upon thousands of
Yeah.
games there.
But that said, competition is healthy. So, hey, best of luck to them.
If
But
they can do something and actually compete, that'd be great. But when it all boils down to it, it's the content, it's the games. If you
yeah,
don't have the games, nobody's going to want to deal with you, and that's kind of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. It is time, friends. It is time to speak of Nintendo Labo,
Labo. That is
which
such a weird name.
I'm,
I'm
yeah.
seriously.
I mean,
It's
I get what they're going for there with laboratory. Hopefully not
yeah.
labotomy, but
Lobotomy or
yeah,
laboratory,
yeah.
or lavatory is what I was
Well,
thinking of. Lavatory is the
so for
English.
those who don't know, and I hope you do because it's really Wonderful. This is the goofy ass Nintendo I love.
Oh yes,
Um,
this
so
is Nintendo. This is the good stuff here.
so Nintendo is selling prefabricated pieces of cardboard uh,
I love that. I
that
love
you
the way you describe it.
that you can fold origami style into different gaming peripherals. So instead of selling you a bunch of plastic game peripheral crap, Nintendo is selling for the exact same price cardboard peripheral crap that you have to build yourself. And I phrase it that way just for humor, but I love this. I was charmed.
It is.
I was charmed out of my pants, and I was at work at the time, so that wasn't good. Almost got fired. But I love the hell out of this. It is such an amazingly creative idea. So, and this uses the Wii. I'm sorry, not the Wii remote.
The Joy Cons.
The Switch Joy-Con. And so basically, you use these cardboard, you origami style it into a thing, like a motorcycle bike handlebar, and you jam the Joy-Con in one side, and it uses the motion sensor of the Joy-Con to figure out what you're doing with this. Now, you don't really need that, I suppose. You could just grab the Joy-Con and do this anyway. But that first of all, building these things just looks really fun, and some of these
Yeah.
little projects are amazingly complicated. For example, one is a cardboard piano with a 13 key piano with working keys. So
Yeah, and
the
you stick
cardboard,
one Joy-Con in it,
right?
and it actually knows which keys you're hitting, which is amazing.
Correct. There's an IR camera in the bottom of the right Joy-Con. So you stick that Joy-Con facing inward in the back of the piano, and there's like little strips of reflective tape on the back of each key. So so it can see the back of the keys moving up and down. And it's going to come down to exactly how responsive it is, but the way I seriously doubt it's like as responsive as an actual keyboard because it's cardboard. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Um, and there was another one. There was a steering wheel with a gear shift on the side, and they took the front off, and you could see all the working mechanisms inside.
Mhm.
There's a Joy-Con in the front that's measuring the rotation. There's a little piece of tape on the gear shift that moves up and down so that the camera can see where everything is oriented. And that's just really, really neat. And what I like
Yeah.
about it is part of the fun and part of the intent of this project, or these toys, are to show you how this stuff works. It's not like you fold the magic box and then it's a mystery. Nintendo really seems to be encouraging, we want you to know how this works and how
Yeah.
all the pulleys and stuff works, because
Yeah,
that's interesting. That's fun.
and that was something that somebody pointed out too on Twitter as I was following this news, is that the instructions for this are that detailed. It's like, okay, you're gonna take this piece of cardboard and this tube and this string, you're gonna combine it in this way, and then it tells you to test it and make sure it moves in the expected way, so that you know if you put it together right, and then
Mhm.
and once you're satisfied, then you continue on with the next step in the instructions, and that's really good. Yeah.
And so, of course, these do work with a Nintendo Labo game or minigame collection. So
Yeah.
you take the Switch screen for the keyboard, the piano. The Switch screen sits right on top of the piano and shows a display, and you can play notes or maybe play whack-a-mole. I don't know exactly how it works. There's another one that is a cardboard house, and the Switch screen sits right in the front like a window so you can see into the house. And there's like a little Tamagotchi pet thing in there. And you jam other cardboard shapes into the sides and the bottom to manipulate events inside the house.
Yeah.
Um, that's a really I'm just blown away by how incredibly creative
Oh
um,
yeah.
this is.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's really cool, and I would totally get this just to buy, just to play with the cardboard, that just to build the cardboard things because
Uh-huh.
I'm an engineer. I have it. That's what I
Yeah.
do. I love building things and making
Yeah.
things.
And
Uh,
there are a few in their video there were a few things that I thought were really cool. Like they made like a little bug or something, and you put a Joy-Con in it,
oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
then you have the touch screen on the Switch, and you hit the buttons, and it shakes the Joy-Con in the right direct, in the right way
Mhm.
to shuffle this little bug across the floor.
Yeah, so you're kind of making a remote controlled car or bug.
Yeah,
So you use the screen as the remote control, and the Joy Cons that are in this little cardboard bug vibrate in a way that will make them turn or make it kind of
yeah,
jiggle forward and scoot across the floor. It's not going to work on carpet, but you'll have to
no.
put it on the table. Man,
And then there was just one that just kind of makes me like I'm just like, what is this supposed to be? It's like a Joy-Con, and then you have this little man-shaped piece of cardboard on front of it,
that falls over.
and the guy on the in the video was just kind of pushing, like had these squares, and he's pushing stuff, and then the cardboard guy just kind of flops onto its face. I'm like, what is this? It's like,
I
it
don't know.
doesn't tell me
Is
what is.
is
It
it
doesn't
like
make sense.
I know it could be anything. Maybe it's like you're on the screen trying to. The little cardboard dude has a bomb on his back, and you're using the screen to move the wires and stuff to disable the bomb. And if it explodes, it vibrates and he falls over. I don't know. Maybe something
Maybe,
like that.
maybe, yeah, but yeah, it made no sense visually to me, and so yeah, I couldn't figure out
Yeah.
what was so special about that move.
So what I now I don't really care one way or the other, but I'm not really the Nintendo Labo name I think is dumb, but I do
Yeah,
think what they're calling the individual cardboard peripherals, they're calling them Toy Cons. That I love.
that
That's
is good.
really
Yeah,
good. That I like.
that is,
So Nintendo Labo actually has how are they phrasing it? Let me make sure I get the phrasing right. So it comes in two kits, right? So
yeah, kits.
Toy-Con 1 is the variety kit, and that comes with five different things. The house thing, the piano, the motorcycle thing, a fishing rod, which actually looks really neat.
Yeah,
So you have a fishing rod with a telescoping end. You have a Joy-Con in the handle and a Joy-Con in um, the windy bit in the center.
yeah,
What's that called? A reel.
the real, yeah,
So you have one Joy-Con that rotates and can sense how you're reeling the fish in, and one in the handle so it can tell which way you're pulling the
yeah. It registers the
right.
cast, and it registers any
And
motions that you make
there's
with the
another
rod. Yeah,
holder that you would place on a table or on the floor that supports the screen, so you that shows a picture of the fish you're catching. And there's a string tied between the the thing that holds the
yeah,
screen and the end of the, but that doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't actually wind. It just sits there and provides tension on the end. Now you could just hold your two Joy-Con and play the game like that, I suppose, but that's just not as fun. And the little RC car slash bug thing. All that comes
yeah,
in the variety kit, Toy-Con 1. Toy-Con 2 is the robot kit. And it's only one thing, but it's a big one. It's basically a backpack that has a foot and hand grips with strings that go into a pulley system into the backpack. So in each
yeah,
hand you hold a piece of cardboard, and they have a string attached to it that goes to the backpack, and you can punch it forward, which pulls the string, which lifts a lever in the backpack, which has a piece of tape on it, so it goes up and down, so that the camera and the Joy-Con looking at it can see what position it's in and knows if you're punching or not. Same thing with the feet. So using this, this one looks like the game plays on the TV, and it
yeah.
looks like Giant Robo, Project Giant Robo, has finally come home.
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah, that
playing a
was
robot
like,
punching buildings and transforming into a car and drive around.
yeah, and that was something that Kotaku had pointed out earlier this week too, is that this was uh, back before the Switch. Nintendo showed off a giant robot game for the Wii U, and it looks like this is the natural progression of that project into the Switch. So,
Mhm.
which is really cool that a
There's
project like that is still alive. So,
Yeah, there's also a head visor thing that the other Joy-Con is in. My guess is that is going to be if you turn your head, it moves the camera in the game. That
yeah.
would probably camera control. Um, so all of this is super duper cool. I'm really into it. Here's the problem. While I was watching the Nintendo's little mini Nintendo Labo announcement, which is 3 minutes long, and it ended. I said, "Oh my gosh, that's wonderfully wacky. I love the hell out of it." I'm very concerned that they didn't bother telling me how much it costs. So, crack the knuckles, go to Nintendo.com, go to labo.nintendo.com, and I say, oh, oh, that's why Nintendo didn't advertise how much these cost. Get this. Toy-Con 1, the variety kit, which includes the piano, the car, the bike handles, the fishing line, and the house, costs $70. $70 for
Well,
cardboard.
they did charge. This is the company that did charge full price for 1-2 Switch. So
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
Toy-Con 2, the robot kit, which again is just the giant robot thing, $80.
yeah,
So oh my goodness. So 150 bucks for both of them. Now, here's the thing. Both of them come with a Switch cartridge. Each
yeah,
so the Toy-Con one with the 5 different things comes with its own Switch game with the 5 mini games or whatever softwares that run each application, and the giant robo comes with its own game too.
yeah,
So um, it's still absurd. I don't believe. I maybe this discredits me as a Nintendo fanboy, but I do not have faith that these games, the actual software itself, is worth $60. I I don't believe it will be worth
yeah,
that much. Much like We Play was not worth $50, but it was worth 10 plus an extra Wii remote. That's
yeah,
fine. These seem to be full priced games with about $20 of cardboard and rubber bands.
and string
This is
and
and
tape.
string and stickers. This and now I think this will be fine. I think Nintendo is charging this because it can.
Yeah,
Uh, but that is horrifically, insultingly overpriced, in my opinion. Um, I, man, I don't see many parents buying both of these for $150. I mean, I had to think that I'm like, maybe if it was okay, full price for the game, 50, $60, so like an eShop download or something, right?
yeah,
And just $20 for each of the kits. You buy a kit and the game
yeah,
itself, you have the game and it's constantly updated as they release new kits. So you buy the game once for full price, not every single time you buy a new kit, because if they release Toy-Con 3 and Kit 3 and Kit 4, and if they're similarly priced, well, now we're looking at $300, the price of the Switch itself, which you do
yeah,
need for four. No, no. How about the game once? And I don't think it should be full price, but I mean, if it's something that's going to be continually updated, okay, fine, 50, $60.
yeah,
And then $20 for the individual cardboard kits, which is still a markup from what cardboard actually costs. I actually looked up how much giant sheets of stock cardboard cost, you can get that much cardboard in really giant sheets for about $12. So $20
Yeah.
for 20 smaller sheets of perforated cardboard, that seems
Yeah,
like
like
would be fine.
moving boxes at U-Haul or whatever. Those are pretty cheap too. You can get a bundle of boxes for 10-20 bucks.
Also, I
And
imagine a lot of Switches are going to die. Because I imagine a bunch of kids are playing with the house with the Switch and the screen, ah! And then the Switch falls out and they drop it on the floor and they break everything. So, I mean, forget
yeah,
the cardboard ripping and tearing, and Nintendo says, "Oh, just fix it with tape. It's cardboard." Yeah, but this cardboard is supporting a $300 system. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But one of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing is the DIY community that builds up around this,
Oh
because
yes, yes.
you've got the kits that Nintendo sells, but I'm looking forward to seeing what other things people do with the software. They figure out what the software can do, and then create new things with with their own cardboard, and figure out new things to build and use the existing software with, because that's going to be really cool. And uh, and to be honest, I could see maybe a few indie developers creating their own software and selling that on the eShop.
Oh yeah,
uh,
I think we'll probably see even third-party companies have uh, like supplemental Toy-Con kits for their
yeah,
games. Uh,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
they'll sell the game. They're like, but also there's this $10 thing of cardboard that you can build a thing and stick your Switch Joy-Con in as a different way to experience our game.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen different you've seen steering wheels and a thing for different racing games. There's what looks like a bass drum pedal, although the thing is flopping in the wrong direction. But so
yeah.
you could have a music game. The mallet's moving in the wrong direction. It's weird. When you press down, it comes back towards your leg instead of away from it towards the drum. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not supposed to be a bass drum pedal, but that's what it looked like to me.
It's for a sewing machine. It's a sewing machine pedal.
There you go. Which is, I don't know what the floppy bit is, but
Yeah,
so there's this weird bird thing that you squish the sides and its wings flap. I'm like,
yeah.
what
It's like
are
got
you
the
playing?
Joy-Con in its
Are you
head,
playing?
and yeah,
Are you playing Duck Hunt from the bird's perspective? You're trying to dodge bullets in a
that
dog?
would actually be kind of fun. But
I don't know. There was one gun which
yeah,
had a thing like that, so you could, someone makes a shooter like Sega brings out a new House of the Dead. Actually, there is a new House of the Dead hitting arcades. So if that comes to Switch, they may say, "Hey, for an extra $10, we'll sell you some cardboard to build a gun that you can use to play our game with." Wouldn't that be
yeah,
fun? I mean, you can play it anyway, but if you want to, here's some cardboard Toy-Con
yeah,
stuff. They also showed a picture of an actual camera, which had the Joy-Con with the IR camera facing out in the focus bit in the front, and they had
yeah.
the other Joy-Con on the top, which looked like you could press the physical Joy-Con's button.
Mhm.
So what I'm guessing is like the screen is in the back of the camera, and they're probably going to make as an augmented reality mini game, maybe like a Pokemon Go or Pokemon Snap, where you see the screen displays what the IR camera is looking at.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if it's just strict light sensor or if it's an actual camera. But if it's an actual camera, it may just be a pass through and display what you're looking at and just draw Pokemon on it or something. You have to take pictures of it.
yeah,
Or it could be that one game where you wander around school trying to take pictures of girls' underwear. Have you seen that game? It's hilarious because this kid, your protagonist with the camera, has
yeah.
this weird move where he like lies on the ground on his back and then just scooches around, moves his feet so he's scooching around trying to get under girls to take pictures up their skirts, which is creepy as hell, but it's so damn goofy looking. It's actually really funny.
Yeah,
Um,
that is a weird game.
yeah,
Yes.
I forget what it's called. I don't think it was ever brought over here, so I don't it may not have an English title, which is why
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. But anyone in the chat remember what I'm talking about? I have no idea if it's fun to play or if the gimmick wears itself out in about a minute. But some of the footage I saw this game of this kid laying on his back and just scooting around, scooting around with his feet, really funny looking.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that other game. What is it called? It's the game where there's a bunch of love struck girls charging you. It's a first person light gun shooter, but there's love struck girls coming at you and you shoot them with your love gun, which somehow makes them go away. I don't
Yeah.
know. And sometimes their clothes explode. Um, it's it's one of those games
I
where
don't
it's like,
know.
okay, that's weird enough. I kind of want to try it. And then I watched some actual gameplay, and I said, okay, this looks funny for about a minute, and then it looks like Galgun is
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Yeah. Then it looks like the game looks really boring to play. Actually, I mean, the conceit is funny, but
Yeah.
anyway. But
Anyway.
so as a parent, what do you think of the Labo? And did you show the commercial to your kids? What do they think?
No, I didn't show it to my kids. I
Because they
don't.
might want it.
They
And
might want it. Yes.
it's expensive.
Um,
I don't want them to want it.
yeah. I don't know. I think the idea is fun. My kids, they like playing in cardboard boxes. They're like cats. You give them a cardboard box and they'll entertain themselves for days. And So something like this might be fun. One of the things that I like to do with my kids is do more, engineering style activities where they've got to actually build things, and that would be fun. I think is just having, building these cardboard things and playing with them. I think they would probably enjoy that. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be buying it because
Yeah.
I have no plans to buy a Switch this year.
Oh, well, there's
Yeah,
that too. I mean,
yeah,
I think you can get away with it. I don't think the price is going to be as much of a problem
yeah,
because the Switch is selling so damn well. Most of the people that would be interested in this probably already have a Switch.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, for people who don't have a Switch and saw this and were like, oh my God, that's the neatest thing ever. I must have it. Oh, it's $300 for the Switch plus 80, 70 or $80 for one of these. No.
Yeah,
Honestly, I would probably buy this if the kits were just, $20 a piece.
yeah,
Because I just get even if the games are stupid, which they're probably like Wii Sports. Well, I
yeah.
don't know. I know some
We
people just play
play.
Wii Sports. They're probably like Wii Play. They're fun for a couple of minutes, and then on
Fun
the
for
other hand,
parties and
yeah, on the other hand, your peripherals are probably only going to last a couple of minutes. So, hey,
yeah,
it's environmentally friendly. Instead of a bunch of plastic instruments filling up our landfill when we get sick of the toy cons, well, it's just cardboard. You can recycle it.
yeah. Just throw it in the recycle bin. Yeah, and that's one of the things too is that with the Wii. We saw an explosion of plastic peripherals, and a lot of them were complete garbage because it's like here's a plastic tennis racket to put your Wii remote in to play Wii tennis,
Yeah,
and
I've
and it's just
I can't
yeah,
wait to see all the Nyko and Mad Catz cardboard
cardboard
peripherals,
kits. Yeah, that would be
steering
hilarious.
wheels and guns and all kinds of
Yeah,
weird stuff.
but yeah, Nintendo I think is getting ahead of that peripheral market with this,
Hmm.
and that to me is a good thing um, because yeah, those like I said, those plastic peripherals were just garbage. They did nothing to enhance the experience, whereas these cardboard kits, you know, they actually seem to enhance the experience, and they use the Joy Cons in ways that you couldn't do it with by holding it, like with the fishing reel. You know, you can't do a 360 twist with a Joy-Con with just one hand without
Yeah,
removing your hand.
I
And
mean, you'd kind of have to like hold one in your mouth to move the rod, and then do this with the other one with both hands. So yeah,
yeah,
I agree. That's one of the things I like about this is it really does the Labo stuff really does change the way you interact with the software and the hardware,
yeah,
which makes it valuable. That's one of the things that I don't really why I don't like um, toys to life stuff. While I
yeah,
think the individual figurines are neat to have on my shelf because they just look cool, to me, Skylanders would be a lot better if I didn't have to grab one of the toys and put it on the thing and get it to just let me pick a new character out of the
yeah,
menu. I don't want to do that, and it's more expensive. You know, Amiibo and stuff. They don't do. I have I can't think of anything that any of the amiibo do that you actually need, really genuinely need. Like this functionality, this feature, whatever the amiibo does, like this wouldn't be possible without the amiibo. No, it would. Just put it in the game. Because all the amiibo do is unlock stuff that's actually in the game already. The
yeah,
cardboard
exactly. Same thing.
is
Yeah,
just
Skylanders.
cardboard, but it changes how you actually interact with the game, which I quite like.
Yeah, definitely. Jordan says he can't wait for 3-4 Switch and the molding clay attachments for it.
That's actually really clever. The sequel to 1-2 Switch is 3-4 Switch. I like that,
Yeah.
Jordan. Very good. What do I think of the
Yeah.
Sony figurines that are coming out? No toys for life functions. Hadn't
I'm
heard
not
of them.
aware of any Sony
What is it,
figurines.
like a Nathan Drake statue or something?
I
I'm
don't know.
sorry, I'm totally unfamiliar with that, so I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, toys to life things. I've got a copy of Skylanders Giants,
Hmm.
and I've got a bunch of figures for it, and it's a fun novelty,
Hmm.
but the Lego video games, not Lego Dimensions, but the general Lego
Yeah.
video games are much better at the concept
Yes.
of switching out characters because it's all in the game. It's all a button press. Whereas, yeah, you've got to with Skylanders, you got to manually move things
Right.
around in order to change your characters.
Before Dimensions came out, I always made the joke. I said, imagine if the Lego games, you actually had to go to the store and buy all the minifigures. It's like you're playing Lego Star Wars, and I want
With
to
a
play
hundred
Ahsoka.
characters, and
Yeah, it's
yeah,
like I want to play Ahsoka, whatever her name is. Oh, I've got to go to Toys R Us and find the minifig and buy it and bring it home and put it on the portal of power to get Ahsoka Tano, I think is her name,
yeah,
into the game.
Sokatano, yeah,
And it's like, no, no.
yeah,
No, no, no. Now, if you pioneer something like new characters, fine. But the problem older gamers like me, anyway, have is when companies say, hey, you know that stuff we've always done? What if we charged more for it? No. What if we
yeah,
took extra difficulties out of the game and charged you extra for No.
yeah.
It's like, hey, remember, and it's so bad. It's like, hey, remember the stuff that you got for free in the previous game of this series? Now it's DLC or it's loot box crap. It's like, oh, come on,
Yeah.
kiss the
Uh,
bum. So, okay, so the figurines are the Hunter from Bloodborne, Sackboy, which is from the Little Big Planet, which is a great, cute design, by the way. Kratos
yeah.
and a ship from Wipeout.
A ship.
Just a ship. I mean, at least the Captain Falcon's was a Blue Thunder, Blue Lightning, or something. His
I
ship
don't
is
know.
at least recognizable from F-Zero.
Yeah.
Samus Aran's gunship is recognizable. Does anyone remember any of the specific vehicles from Wipeout?
No.
You may as well just have a figurine that's the game's logo, for crying out loud.
When I think I don't know much about the game because when I think the name Wipeout, the first thing that comes to mind is a jet ski racing game.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I
what I
want?
think of.
I want one of the. It has a name. Can't remember it offhand. Says Chaos. Yeah, that's the point. But I'm sure someone's really pleased with their
Yeah.
wipeout
Yeah,
figurine.
there's certain vehicles in games that you are memorable, but yeah, you have a hard there's a hard it's really difficult to make these vehicles memorable, and yeah, and if Sony's making these figures but they're not toys to life functionality, they don't have toys to life functionality, then what's the point of them? I don't get it. It's like, isn't there already toys out there of these different franchises? um maybe not maybe not God of War and Bloodborne, but definitely Little Big Planet. I'm pretty sure I've seen Little Big Planet figurines out and about. But
Yeah, maybe this is just the official PlayStation line of figurines.
maybe, I don't know.
I genuinely do like the amiibo just as figurines, but I just really
They're
have a
still
problem.
expensive
They are
figurines.
expensive, but they are cool
Yeah.
looking. I just have a problem with them locking content behind the need to go buy an extra toy.
Yeah.
I don't like that, and that makes me grumpy. Um,
I'm right there with you. It's as much as I really wanted one of those little plushy Yoshis.
oh, the
I never
yarn
got
Yoshi?
around. Yeah, the Yarn Yoshis. I
Yeah.
never got around to buying one because it's just I can go to the toy section at Walmart and find a a, a stuffed animal of equal size for like $2, and whereas it costs 15 to get a Yarn Yoshi,
Hmm.
and
Chaos says the Sony figurines are $9.99 a piece. So I'd have to see them. I mean, if they're
yeah.
that big, but sounds like a better
If
than the 15 bucks
Sackboy
or
is
whatever.
actually made out of burlap, sure,
Yeah,
I'll get that.
yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the Metroid amiibo, which is squishy.
Yeah.
That's just so cool. I love that. I don't have any of these things because I'm cheap. It's like, Andrew, why don't you go
Yeah.
get some? It's like, well, because the money that I'm spending on amiibo is money I'm not spending on video games
Or food.
or food. Yeah, uh, and even some luxury items. It's like, Andrew, you only have one set of bed sheets. Yeah, because I wash them and then I put them back on the bed. What? Um, it's like, well, wouldn't it be handy to have an extra set in case someone comes over? I said, no one comes over. And say, but if somebody did, I say, yeah, but the money I'd spend on these extra sheets is money I'm not spending on video games, you see. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing I don't drink or do drugs because I would have no money. Um, man, oh man, leg cramp. Ow. So all right, I think that's good enough. So Nintendo
Yeah.
Labo, wonderfully imaginative,
Oh yes,
insanely
definitely.
goofy. This is the kind of weird, unpredictable stuff from Nintendo that I love. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
and if they just charge way too much for it, they're going to get away with it. I think it's going to sell great. I think people will buy it at that price.
Oh yeah.
But I, I talked about this on Twitter, but I honestly think they'd probably sell more and make more money if they at more reasonable prices. Because if they have four kits out, then they're all priced about the same thing. You're looking at $300 for all four kits.
Yeah.
However, if it's like $20 for kits because there's just you only have to buy the game once. So say $60, and the four kits are $20 a piece. So that's $140 for four Labo kits compared to
Mhm.
300. I don't see a lot of people buying all of them at that price, but
Yeah.
if they only have to buy the game once and each successive kit is only $20, and assuming that this takes off and it is a lot of fun and there's interest in it, I think most people would buy all of them or a good chunk of them. I mean, it's kind of
Mhm.
the same opinion I have with Hamster's arcade archives that are $8 a piece. At $8 a piece, I'm only
Yeah.
going to buy the ones I know. I mean, it's like, oh, King of Fighters, I remember that game, or Metal Slug, I remember that game. But it's like Puzzle Wizard or something. It's like I have no idea what that is, so no. But if they were $1 a piece, like if you could buy all of them for $50, $60, it'd be like
Yeah.
I will take them all. Instead I just buy uh, the four that I know,
Yeah.
and that's $32, which is about half of what I would be spending just to get all of them. So, but then again, I'm an engineer, not a business money dude. So what do I know?
Business money, dude.
Business money dude. That's right. So anyway, I mean it this time. That's the end of the podcast. So
All
hey,
right.
thank you everyone for
Yes, thank
hanging
you.
out with us. I need to eat. I'm starving. But before I do that, I must plug my things, and then we'll leave. So Andrew Eisen here, Eisen is how you spell the last name. Plug it into YouTube, and you'll find my YouTube videos. The latest of which is a crowdsourced Mad Lib. I got a book of Mad Libs for Christmas, and during my "Here's What I Got for Christmas" video, I said, here are the nouns and verbs and stuff I need, and a fair number of you responded. So I picked words that sounded funny and plugged them into a Mad Lib and made a video, and it's okay. The, the,
Yeah, it
act-
was kind of a
the,
lame
act-
story.
the
Yeah.
story itself was just lame. Your words were great. There were some really good words in there that I really liked, but the story itself was just kind of on the lame side. So, hey, let's try it again. So, uh, if you don't want to listen to the story, just scoot to the back half of the video, and there's a whole list of words. And put them in the comments, and we'll try it again. Maybe it'll be a thing. Maybe it won't. But fun idea, crowdsourced
Yeah.
Mad Lib, I think. You can also follow me on Twitter at Andrew Eisen. And I have Facebook too. It's Andrew Eisen YouTube if you're one of those. So,
Yeah.
Zachary, plug away.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Easy Night, where I talk about gaming and politics and movies and shows and whatever else I feel like talking about. I also do game development stuff at DK_gaming on Twitter and DivineKnightGaming.com, and I plan on actually posting some stuff soon. I'm trying to finish up my first game of the year here soon. It's taken me just a little bit longer than I was hoping, and so I'm going to try to get that done for next week, before the end of the week, and so that it can come out before before I need to start working on the February game. And then also the Oklahoma. If you're interested in the Oklahoma game development scene, check out OK Game Devs on Twitter, and it's okgamedev.com. I've actually got a couple of games that I plan on writing about here pretty soon too. So check that out.
So some upcoming stuff for me I wanted to mention real quick is I still have 11 bonus game streams to do. I don't know when I'll do the next one because I'm on call tomorrow, so can't really do it tomorrow. But I think the next game I'm going to play on stream is Sin and Punishment Star Successor. Um, it's a shooter game, and from what I understand, it's really wacky and Japanese and weird.
Yeah.
So that could be fun. So look for that in the next couple of weeks. Also, something I'm planning on doing is making Monster Hunter videos. So my idea is to make a video for each monster of me hunting each monster, and if I fail a hunt, then I'll do a revenge video or something. So, watching Andrew attempting Mad Libs, verb, kill, person, me, time of day now, yes. So, I don't know how well that will work. That's something I just am thinking about doing. So, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's it for our show. Thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you back here next week, probably at the normal time of
Yes, should be. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Have a lovely week. We'll see you
All
next
right.
time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.